Shopify Masters is powered by Shopify, the easiest way to sell online, in person, and anywhere in between. To get an extended 30-day trial, visit shopify.com/masters.
Success is your worst enemy, because once you start getting one right, two right, you think you got everything.
Hey, my name is Felix. I'm the host of Shopify Masters. Each and every week, you'll learn the keys to success from e-commerce experts, entrepreneurs like you. In this episode, you'll learn why you should add a clearance section to your store, how to take advantage of critical reviews, and why success can be your worst enemy. Today I'm joined by Robert and Carlos of Source Vape. Source Vape sells high-quality vaporizer equipment and accessories and was started in 2013 and based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome, Robert and Carlos.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Felix.
So I don't know much about vaporizers. Can you explain a little bit about how your product is different than what the competitors were offering at the time?
At the time, it was revolutionary. It was the first time that had double coils, new airflow design, and from there, that's where we got the idea of, instead of releasing multiple vaporizers like other companies do, and having the customer have to repurchase a different vaporizer or a different full kit every single time, we can just sell different atomizer styles. Basically, you can call it, I guess, the brain or the engine of the orb, basically what powers it, what deals with the e-juice, and just keep releasing new versions of it. So we did that with our 4 Series line last year, and basically expanded it to having full cross compatibility within our products. So if somebody goes and says, buys it or 4 last year, this year when we release new products, new atomizers, they don't have to go in and repurchase everything else like everyone else. They just go in and have the new atomizer. And then on top of that, stores, because that's a big factor of what we grew our business into, distribution also of our unique products, is stores like it because it's a great upsell item. The more options you have for the customer to keep coming and repurchasing, the better it is.
That makes sense. So can you say a little bit more about how it is an upsell item that you're selling as well?
Yeah, of course. So, for instance, here's the thing. Our product range is from $10, not including our sales section. We always have a sales section with our old products, but all the way from $9.95, $10 basically, to our latest product, which is $250. Right? 4 different product lines basically, and multiple atomizer configurations. So, in comparison to other companies that are in our own market and industry, maybe one per, and then come back maybe from atomizer replacements. Maybe they have 2 or 3. Most likely they have like 1 sometimes. And then they'll come out with another product maybe next year. So you get that customer to purchase that one product, and like I said, maybe 1, 2 atomizers within the next 6 months. So on average, that product price will be about $80, and then that atomizer is about $20. So that customer value lifetime is about $100 on average tops. $120 if you're really pushing all of your customers to purchase 2 within year and a half. Us though is completely different. Actually doubles and get that lifetime value up to like $200. And then that way every time you acquire a customer, and hopefully you get a few of them up to that 20%, you get more money, rather than trying to make a big low profit item with not much repurchase rate from our customers. Our main focus is always repurchase rate. How can we get more customers back, and how can we get more money into our stores' hands, basically.
Got it. So how are the competitors doing it differently where they don't have an upsell component to their product lines?
Well, the thing is, on average in our industry, I'm going to say 90%, 80% of all competing companies, with all due respect, are just basically copies of each other. Mm-hmm. There's very little innovation in our market, other than a few of us. we went ahead and basically had a product idea and blueprint to basically, and we did this quietly to make sure that we basically, I guess you can say, snuck up on everybody. And basically, by the time this is all out, it's too late for the catch up. But like I said, when you have competing products, since they didn't think about this atomizer replacement function, they can't do it. They physically can't do it. And now they're stuck in these ecosystems that unless they literally reset all of their product line and come out with a new product, which will abandon all their old customers, they just physically cannot.
Got it. So from the get-go, you have a product that can accept a component, which is the atomizer, so that an entire, I guess, system of products works with each other, which is not how your competitors are doing. Competitors are selling almost like, I guess, a closed system where you have to buy everything all at once and doesn't have the ability to add on additional components. And in your case, this is the coilless, the 5 coilless atomizers that you sell?
Yes, actually, our new product, I would say, the way we explain it to people is the thinking behind our products is kind of like an iPhone and even an iPad. So when you have an iPhone, it just does everything for you. So whenever I see, and whenever even we see another product on the market that does something, we basically want to incorporate that either equally or better than that. So compared to everyone else, it's kind of like Apple. You can just be an amoeba and add all this with our 4 Series 9. And then we made our XL series that is basically like an iPad that can work with the smaller atomizers, but also just the large ones. So at the biggest, which is our source nail, it can work with up to 30 different atomizers. So that's the main thing that we did, and I would recommend to anyone listening to is if you're getting anything mass produced, made from China, good pricing, good quality, good branding, that's great. But end of the day, there's always a bigger fish. So the only solution to start helping you is to design exclusive products, and if you can, get them patented, because that's what we did with our system and all the new atomizers. And once you start doing that, then you basically defend your, you got a patent, you got a brand, got a whole system that is not easy to penetrate and beat. Because if you just keep, basically calling China and then, or another factory emails you again and says, "Oh, check it out, we got this new thing." It's you and a couple of 100,000 people, a couple of 100 or 1,000 people that got the same email.
Right.
And you're one of the ones that answers. That's like, what do they probably get? 1% conversion rate from Chinese. So you're going to get maybe 5-10 companies that have the same thing. So it's only a matter of time until you all die out, because the person that has the power too is your manufacturer, and they'll always undercut you once they are still running out of money.
Right. So you're saying that if you are not creating your own products, eventually you're getting some kind of pricing war where you're all just fighting for the same piece of pie. Now, when you sit down and originally designed this system, how do you think about the product design differently if you want to create a whole system that works with each other and then is also possible to support future features, essentially?
We just started it with our source orbit, and to be honest, a lot of the reason we've been able to survive, because our market, E6 and all the markets that we are is. I remember I read a quote from another entrepreneur in our industry who said, "In our industry, six weeks is the equivalent of 6 months. It moves so quickly." And you'll have companies come and go within 6 months interval that you think it's been like 2-3 years. So the main thing we've been able to survive, and the best thing we did, is we're flexible and we maneuver quickly. So sometimes it ruffles feathers with our distributors and wholesalers, because we come out with a product 3-4 months in, we're like, "Hey, we already got a new version." We're always work very well with all of our exclusive distribution partners. Anytime, they have older stock, we'll take it back. We'll replace it with the new ones. But the main thing is basically trying to follow basically, we had a blueprint, but you have to be flexible. If you're very rigid, if you said, I need to do this, you might break. So a lot of times we've had to change our ideas or product development or product releases just to be able to move and react to the market quicker.
Can you say more about flexibility? I think this is a really important point that you're making. How do you add flexibility into your company?
Sometimes I'm the one that designs most of the products, like the internals, and sometimes I'm adamant about certain things. Like I wanted to make a premium kit of our Orb XL because I liked it, And I remember Walt Disney said this: "Is you're not building things for yourself; you're building it for other people." So I'll shoot out this idea, and our distribution partners will say, "You know what? We prefer travel kits." And, for a night, I'll like groan and like, but then think about what everyone says. A lot of entrepreneurs, I know they said this on Shark Tank, is success is your worst enemy. Because once you start getting one right, two right, you think you got everything right. Mm-hmm. But every time someone would say something, even if at the beginning you're like, you just got to think about it. So sometimes I literally nix products just on a conversation with two distributors. And even though we're moving on it, we're like, it's not a great idea. And sometimes I'm talking to a distributor. And actually this happened with our 3 Series line right now, which is our budget line. I was with one of the top salespeople at our distributor. Out of nowhere, sends me an email and says, hey, we have inquiries for products of this competing product. I know you guys can make it better. What do you think? And it was a lower price, more budget friendly. And I literally got off the phone and said, do you want to revive our 3 Series line? We already had the 4 Series out. Do you want to revive the 3 Series line? I can make it for you immediately, release it at these price points, and basically beat out these competitors. Within 48 hours, we already had 3 different products designed and already in production because that's what they wanted.
So this goes back to your other point about how you're able to maneuver quickly. Now, how do you set up your company so that you can also act quickly on these kind of opportunities?
We keep it slim. That's the main thing we do. We keep a small group of people, very small overhead, like miniature. More than anything is we keep an active connection with our user base and fans. We also changed the way we released products. We started doing with our XL series products, releasing atomizers first before full kits. So that way we could see which ones were the most popular rather than our assumption of what we think should be the most popular. And then afterwards made kits from that. So that's mainly how we do it. Anything like that too. We also have our clearance section, which, especially if any of you guys that have multiple products, especially older products, a great thing to have is just a clearance section. It won't hurt your retail prices if you're wholesaling, if it's older products, but it really brings in that budget purchaser that can then basically you can turn it into somebody who comes in for the budget and then converts into a loyal lifetime customer.
Right. Now, how do you decide what gets sent to the clearance section?
Anything not current.
So you would never sell like the Source Orb 3 and the Source Orb 4 together, or I'm not sure if that's a good example or not, but you would never sell a quote unquote outdated version of a product?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, outdated version. So for instance, we have right now the Orb 3 Prem 2 kit, which is Premium 2. So the Premium 1 is on the clearance section for 50% off. So we have new nail attachments, which are $70 retail, but with the older glass, so they're half off. So in going with the flexibility, this actually happened as with our Source Orb 4. When we first launched it, it's magnetic. And we tested it, we used it. But one of the things that we really, that happens is when you release a product, you can test it and use it however many times you want. But most of the people that are testing it are involved in the design or use of it or previous users. So they tend to be a little bit more educated on how to use it. So when you actually release a product to the mass, they'll basically go through the paces and do things you never thought about it. So the magnet would fall off in your pocket. We figured if you make the atomizers twice as long, the magnet will stay put. So we literally had to change gears, switch gears, manufacture these atomizers twice the size, and then all the short ones, which now fit for other products, we basically put those at 50% off. So that way you can have especially us, that we're a premium brand, you have a premium brand pricing, and everything and all the value that comes with it. But then you also have that great clearance section at 50% off. So you also stave off, in our market, there's a lot of competition. Like I said, a lot of Chinese competitors for, the lower quality products. So you compete in the clearance section, by having something, I guess, older or lower quality, and even keep producing older quality, like older products, like, hey, there's still more glass that we can do that is older. Hey, keep selling it, because you'll basically fight off all the lower priced people before they even get to you.
Got it. And the idea behind that as well is that you can win these budget conscious customers through the clearance section, and then maybe later when they are more willing to invest in buying better equipment or more updated equipment, they'll come back to you because they've been a past customer already.
Yes, and actually we have a saying around here that not only that, but our everything in our clearance section must be better than every competitor's product out there. So not even like the cheap products that you just find on eBay. Our clearance section must be better than our full price, quote unquote, premium brands, in which we do. So we always try to keep something there that basically every other competitor, you can get it for 50% off from us and 10 times better.
Got it. Now, this all goes back to we were just saying earlier, goes back to the idea that you can maneuver quickly, you can produce new products quickly, so you can keep on advancing your product line. And you're able to do this is because you're keeping things lean. Based on what you've seen either in other competitors or even in other industries, where do you think that there are some places that you guys have decided to go on lean where other entrepreneurs might want to take a hard look at to trim some of the fat?
Some of the things that we do is we look at the labor market, the taxation, and also the adding of multiple team members. A lot of companies basically just go ahead and say, yeah, I'm gonna make it, let me rent out this warehouse. They care a lot too on what they look like. Let me pay for the office, let me get this, like. You can always trim costs. One of the main reasons we're in Las Vegas, we started in Las Vegas. We're actually based out of Pahrump now. But one of the main reasons we are in Nevada and now in Pahrump is that the taxes. Nevada has no income tax, especially for corporate. We were in Las Vegas, but Clark County started taxing. So we literally moved to Pahrump. We ship out of Benzonia in Michigan. So while a lot of our competitors turn around and say, I distribute from LA, that's great. But then you're paying California taxes, California minimum wage, everything else. You're not even counting all the LA taxes, everything else. So for us, it's better to make strategic partnerships with distributors in certain areas, especially larger distributors. But that's one of the things we focus on. It's not basically growing to something that the less things you actually have to pay in case sales basically drop off. That's the main thing. You want to be as lean as possible so that later on you're not just ballooned up and just can't even keep the lights on.
Got it. So you've mentioned distributors a couple of times now. They've been able to, of course, get your products out there and also provide very valuable feedback on what the market wants. How did you find your distributors to work with?
We went to the best. Robert and I started selling vaporizers before for another company, for another company he had. So we had some connections that when I was doing sales for him for these top distributors, but you call them up. They always, I always laugh about this in Shark Tank. They ask some people have you called Whole Foods? Have you called this? Especially when they have a hot product. And they're like, oh, no, I just don't know how to get a hold of them. You go ahead and you literally do not stop. I'll never forget, I was calling Vape World, which is another distributor we used to work with before we went exclusive with another one. But I literally, on the phone nonstop, what's going on, who can I talk to, like 3-4 months, but you have to keep going. And if your product, your service, or yourself are good enough, you will close the deal.
Got it. And how do you usually work with once you've established a relationship with the distributor and are working together? Like, what's actually being done? Like, how do you actually work with the distributor on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it's simpler than that. We just we signed an exclusive agreement with two of them, two here, two in the U.S., two in Canada. Told them, hey, these are the price points. You can't go lower. We won't sell to anybody else. You can't carry certain brands that compete with us. We signed a long contract, like you have to promote us this many times, and then they just turn around and distribute to their network. One of our partners has I think over 1,500 brick and mortar stores that they sell to. So they basically just turn around, send you a PO, buy it, then they go and sell it. So it's I recommend anybody, if you have a chance to go into a distributor, and it's not somebody who's going to, let's say have big returns or give you a net 90, anything like that. It's always good because you could make more money, and we've talked about it here. We could make more money if we literally just started doing wholesale ourselves, the profit margin. But most people don't then anticipate the cost with doing that. In order to have a wholesale team, you need to have dedicated salespeople. Then you're basically growing. Remember what we're talking about later? The overhead, and later on, if wholesale is weak in March, right? You've got all these wholesale people, you still got to pay that day. You know what I'm saying? In that whole month. So you got to pay each one, $90K? So is your profit margin really going to be that much higher than turn around and saying, hey, distributors, you're making 30%, I'm making 30% less profit, but here you go, handle it, you move it, you have a dedicated salespeople, and you already have the stores. It's much easier, and it's specializing at what everyone's best at.
Right. So you're moving this potential overhead costs of having in-house wholesale, workers into more of a variable cost by having these distributors that work outside your company.
Yes. And, we like connections, Bailey. We like a lot of working. All of our team doesn't work at an actual, other than warehouse. Customer service team, they just work remotely. So what we like is kind of like you said, wholesale, things like that, is adding people, actual humans to your system brings downfalls. Like there's upsides to it and downfalls. And that's what I'm saying. Like one of the downfalls is you get a great wholesale person, you get a great salesperson, he's killing it, but you got to pay for his gas, you got to pay for something. And then what happens when he's sick? What happens when he's got a baby, or, they got higher aspirations and they want to get another job? You end up being tied to other people's lives. Do you get what I'm saying? So right. It's much easier to just, we like to rely on systems and computers. So we do Shopify. Shopify connects to apps like Stitch Labs. Stitch Labs connects to ShipStation. Shipping's done automatically. Instead of having a person having to do it, instead of having we connect to Zendesk. Zendesk automatically goes and connects all of the omni-channel ways for customers to connect with us: Twitter, Facebook, etc., email, phone, and everything. You have it documented and easily systematized. So that way, at the end of the day, what most entrepreneurs are trying to do is, one, pay the bills, but two, most likely have an exit plan. And the main way to have an exit plan and have someone come in and say, you know what, this is a great business. Here's a couple of mil. We'll buy it up. Is for them to be able to basically come in and replace you. So if they come in and you're doing everything, or we have all these, employees and everything like that, and all these people are indispensable, it adds a lot of hurdles to people. So they prefer being able to basically do a turnkey business. This is all how it works. It all runs itself. These people, when you hire them, we already have a system on how they get trained. They follow this script. These are the answers already pre-programmed. And if one of them needs to be replaced, it's easily replaced within a day or two. Things like that. Mm-hmm. We like the company to basically not rely, even on whenever I'm doing things, anything important, anything like that, I literally make a video of it, record the screen, and we document it. So then our manager can go ahead and copy it. And then she can easily show it to all the people when they train. So you want to make it, this is one of the things, I worked at Disney. One of the things you want to do is you want to make everything so systematized that you can easily dip in and out. Whether it's vacation, anything like that selling, you want to make it as systemized as possible.
Got it. So going back to the idea of having this distributor, you're basically paying into a system. So rather than having an employee, you are buying into a system that if someone that the distributor is sick or leaves a company, they have a system in place already. You've purchased into it so that it already has someone to pick it up, or they already have a process to pick it all up, so you don't have to worry about individuals. You already bought into a system that can replace individuals as they come and go, or any change, the other changes essentially happen. Now, when you are looking for a distributor, for anyone else out there that is not this sounding very attractive to them, what are some things to pay attention to when you sit down with a distributor to hash out a contract? Like, what are some key terms that you think are really important to keep or to focus on?
You want to make sure one of the things you really want to stick on, and I think most novice entrepreneurs will do this, you really want to stick to being able to, first off, your clauses, breaches of contract, anything like that, have it so that if they break the contract, if they do anything in bad faith, you can either get, money back or be able to break the contract and go someone else. But one of the big things you want to do is a minimum advertised price agreement. Do not sign a contract unless you've basically told them you cannot display our product or basically print or sell our product for lower than this, even wholesale, distributor, retail, whatever it is, because there's been multiple companies. There was actually a distributor in Costa Mesa. They actually went out of business because, of course, they do business like this. But people that do bad faith, they purchased a bunch of products from this company that sold grinders, and good quality grinders. But then they had a lot of stock, and they weren't selling. They wanted lower price from the grinder company, and they're like, well, we can't. It's this is our price point. So they turned around and said, fine, we're not going to carry you anymore. And they're like, that's cool. And to liquidate their stock, they went ahead and printed on their catalogs liquidation pricing of the grinders. And you know what happens when you have anything wholesale at a lower price that stores see? Stores are basically, their job is run a business. So they're looking to get the cheapest possible. This isn't like a customer. A customer will oversee if they saw a cheaper price, they already have a product. Stores turned around and basically all of them said, I can get it for this price. I want it for this price or I'm not buying it from you. And from there onward, it's printed. So people now basically had the idea that is the new price point. Case in point, the grinder company went out of business because now your whole business is and price points are destroyed. So they basically tanked out their own product and bottomed out their market just because they weren't going to carry a product anymore. And that, I think, is the most dangerous thing because, if you say you have to purchase my products, this is the minimum advertised price, and they turn around, they're not selling, you can always have a clause, if you're not selling this much, we can dip out. But that one won't hurt you long term. You lose time, whatever. But if somebody turns around and undercuts you, especially one of your distributors, you could potentially just lose your business completely.
Wow, yeah, definitely sounds like a very fatal mistake that could happen from the beginning of your relationship with the distributor. Now, you mentioned earlier that you have gone exclusive with the distributors in the U.S. and in Canada. What's the benefit behind going exclusive with a distributor?
when everybody cares, there's a saying, when everyone's special, no one's special.
Mhm.
So if you're in 3 different just to give an example, I guess a better example. If you're a product and you go to Target, you go to Walmart, and all these people are like, sure, I'll carry you. That's fine. They go ahead and carry you, and they put you on the aisle, and you're just like everyone else. Hopefully you'll sell just on your own brand alone, etc. If you go ahead and then Target turns around and said, I want you exclusive, the distributor and or Target, whatever, now thinks they're special. And since they only have it, they put you front and center. So if you can find someone, even if it's a little bit smaller, but they go ahead and give you basically the VIP treatment, it's much, much, much better to make an exclusive partnership like that, because then you benefit not only from the sales, but the marketing and their expertise to basically push you, because now they tie their growth to you. So it's you basically became symbiotic, and it also, I guess you can say, as a dead man switch, gives you a symbiotic relationship where they are now tied to your growth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of safety knowing that, 1, it better be a good distributor, but 2, if they are, you have to, as long as you focus on yourself, which is making good products and good branding, you will be successful, because they will be successful, and you are their golden child.
I would just add on that with the distributors as well. Getting inside a couple exclusive distributors doesn't really block you from other distributors that are out there, because they may sub-distribute to them as well. So our distributors are sub-distributing their product to others. So you still end up getting a lot more locations, but on our end too, on the operational end, ends up being less work, less things to deal with, less orders to deal with, and they kind of handle distributing to other distributors.
Got it. So you work with just a select few people, and they do the rest of the job of getting it out to more folks like these sub distributors. So I want to talk a little bit more about the systems that you guys have created. What would you say is maybe the number one aspect of your business that you've systematized that has had the biggest impact on the success of your business?
Customer service. I think both customer service and actually inventory and stock sales. Customer service, thanks to Zendesk, and the inventory and customer service management on basically what we call our brain, quote unquote, which is Stitch Labs. But basically, those two just make things much, much easier. We used to just have anybody listening, go get a Zendesk account. I think it's free, whatever, or something like it. But we used to just have people email us, and then you sit there and you got to respond to every single email. It takes 10 times more. You don't know what the customer said earlier, everything like that. You want things as much connected as possible. But those two things have been the best things we've done so far business-wise.
And I would say for systemization, another thing that's really helped is doing the recording of the videos. Most of them we use Ice Cream Screen Recorder, which is like just a basic desktop app. And the thing is, you'll see a lot of people that are starting out companies, they end up retraining people over and over again for the same job. Someone new comes in and you're sitting there on the computer. A lot of people are doing share screens over and over again, but there's really no reason to do that. If it can all be done on the computer, record what it is. And it used to be we have to train an agent. It would take a couple of weeks. Now an agent comes in, if someone new comes in, they sit there, they watch the videos for a few days and they know most of it. And that systematization of the videos and really relying more on videos than sitting there and doing in-person training takes a lot of load off the system, takes a lot of load off the team leads, and isn't just another easy systemization.
Love it. So another automation that I see added to your site is with the Yacht Pool reviews, which I believe sends out an automated email to your customer after they've purchased or at a set interval and asks them for review. And you guys have over 7,000 certified reviews now on your site. How did you begin soliciting or begin encouraging customers to come write reviews? Because 7,000 is amazing, helps with the SEO, helps with, of course, the trust factor for new customers when they're visiting. So how were you able to get over 7,000 reviews on your site?
John Lasseter from Pixar always said, the best marketing is to make a great product. And that's how we started. And to be perfectly honest, we started putting up reviews once we had a great product. Because your first launch of anything, even to this day, even our newer products, you will always have bugs. The guy from LinkedIn always says, if your product is perfect and you love your product, you release too late.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happened at the beginning. We released stuff. It was great, but not, it was okay. Actually, it was okay to good, not great. Customers complain, everything like that, but there was no reviews. We always made sure once you have it basically dialed in, boom, then you go ahead and add those reviews, because that's where the word of mouth comes in. The average customer, you could tell them anything. People nowadays, especially with the political climate, the news, etc., don't believe anything unless it's like even reviews that we still get people like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's not, literally says verified, man. But it gives them that extra confidence from other people. Nobody wants to listen to a review. Nobody trusts IGN, CNN. Half the people know that it's just a paid for ad. You know what I'm saying? So the real core of early adopters, especially, a lot of things that we talk about, Robert and I, is mainly, I guess you can say, tech-based, art, clothing, that's all different. But anything that is more tech-related, more that, like, can be compared to with, like, specific, stats for a machine or whatever.
Like specs or whatever.
Yeah. Those things, it's just better when real customers review.
Got it. So was this just off the back of sending these automated emails out, or were you, because I've seen other stores do things like they offer a discount code or something for if someone writes a review. Were there any other ways that you've been able to encourage past customers to come to the site and write a review?
Yeah, we give a $5 coupon code if they write a review. Have $5 off coupon code. $10 off if they go ahead and share that review on social media that they wrote. And then we also have our Source Rewards loyalty program, which is phenomenal and the best one in the industry. But we go ahead and give customers just 1,000 points just for signing up, which gives them free shipping, maybe $10 off, I think, on their first order, 20% off. But then they can go ahead and just amass. And they can get points just by referring friends. And then they can also go all the way to get 50% off or $100 off in our store. So we get a lot of customers that just on that, they prefer to just purchase our stuff and tell other customers, because then they go ahead and just save money as they spend it. People like to, you basically get like a gamification by becoming.
Got it. Now, how are people finding out about your products? I can understand the distributors getting it out into the retail stores, so people are seeing it as they're going shopping. But for your online only customers, how are you able to reach them?
We do a lot of social media, a lot of email advertising. But one of the things that's been most successful, CPC, cost per click. And some advertisements is good, mainly because our market is so niche. There's niche advertising networks because we have to be 18 plus. So like Mantis. If we were doing Google AdSense, I don't know. I couldn't tell you if that's better because it's such a broad. But Mantis, all of these things that are very niche, it's easier to advertise. Like if you advertise on High Times, the market that's coming. But I think the best ROI, best return on investment we've got is influencers, especially YouTube influencers. YouTube influencers to go ahead and just use the product, give your honest review. And sometimes we even have to tell them, like, tell me something wrong about it. Tell me what's great, but give an honest review. Because a lot of companies will just basically say, hey, review this, and tell them, like, go ahead and say this and act like it's the best thing on earth. And then the customers will see through the lie. So you go ahead and just give them an honest review and say, this product, this, it's great, it's amazing, but it's not perfect. That's when you get the most brand loyalty. And that's been the best thing we've done to find people is YouTube influencers that just give honest and real reviews.
Got it. So you almost want the influencers to be a bit critical because it makes it, or not makes it, but it shows that it's an honest review that's not biased or that's not forced onto them with a script.
Yes, and how we said earlier how we're very flexible. This goes with it because I tell them, if you tell me what's wrong, we go ahead and fix it. So we're not like those companies that when they tell you like, oh, this is horrible, it overheats or something, they go ahead and try to hide the review. Like someone said, this could be better if they did it. Next iteration, we literally fixed it. We try to fix it ASAP as soon as possible by either having something extra the customer can purchase, or by the next revision, we already have that upgrade. So basically, by the next time, because here's the thing too, it doesn't just make it real, but if it's something that could be fixed by the next iteration, by the time the next one comes in and the same person reviews it, you basically already said, hey, remember how this was great? We made it even better because we fixed that one thing they complained about.
Guys, so do you try to go back to influencers that might have given you some constructive criticism? You've gone back, improved the product, and then you try to come back to them, ask them to review it again?
Always. And to be honest, the reviewers that just say everybody's special and perfect, those are the ones we pay less attention to. Obviously, the ones, end of the day, most views, most viral, that's what matters. But the ones that realistically have rankings, have a point system that is honest and legit, those are the best value, because it does give you a point to compete with. It gives you a finish line and say, okay, this is what's wrong. These are what my competitors are doing that I have to beat. And then that's why we have so many products. Because like I said, when we see something going on and something from another company is successful, I try every competitor's products. So when I try something and I like it, how can I take this and bring it to mine? Basically, again, with everything we do, we think of the iPhone. You look at the Galaxy, it has something good. Next thing you know, the iPhone has it, but better. Mm-hmm. So anything we do like that, we try and incorporate it.
Got it. So you look for reviewers on YouTube that are critical, that are taking reviews seriously by having some kind of point system or some actual quantitative way to assess the products. So other than looking for that type of content, are there other things that you look at to decide what kind of reviewers to look at? Are there any tools or specific data that you reference to determine if it's an influencer that you want to work with?
No, we mainly look at their views, look at the comments to make sure that they're legit, that the views match the comments. We look at the interaction, because some of them just have YouTube, some of them just have Instagram, like a large following there. We always want to make sure that they also match with our brand. Obviously, you don't want someone that doesn't, match the branding you're trying to give. Review your products, but that's basically it. And a lot of it is just it's just a hunch. Sometimes you see you'll find a reviewer or an influencer who we always try to call them a diamond in the rough. It's very easy. It's the easiest thing is to find the reviewers at the very top, and obviously everyone knows influencers and reviewers will start charging basically for their time, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people complain saying that it's like you're buying a review. But then if you actually did it yourself and did review products, you'd figure out it takes so long. Mm-hmm. You're basically just compensating for the time. But it's really easy to get the top ones. You really want to try to find somebody who's going to be on the come up, basically. Kind of like an emerging artist. And we do that sometimes. We'll find someone who's got like maybe a couple thousand views, but the quality of their video or whatever they do is so good that it's worth it to stick out with them. They're free or cheap. But on top of that, during their growth, you became a really good partner with them, and you helped them grow because you were the bigger partner. So now you have kind of a relationship. So I used to do kind of music like with DJs. So that's kind of what we also have in mind too when we look for influencers. It's kind of like you're trying to find a bunch of small influencers. You cast a wide net. You have a bunch of them try out, and hopefully a few of them will turn into quote unquote influence superstars. And now you are their biggest partner.
A good way to find people that want to review your type of product is search competing products that are reviewed. So pretty much search competing product title, review, and you'll find on YouTube that are searching people that are doing similar ones. Then when you find the reviewers, take a look at their view count, look at the subscriber count, and make sure that the view count looks fairly realistic compared to the likes and dislikes and comments. And if those line up, then it's more likely it's real. There are some reviewers out there that just buy themselves a bunch of views and ends up not getting the type of impact you're looking for, but make sure those ratios are correct and you'll find good reviewers.
Got it. So YouTube's been known as one of the platforms that have had the most, maybe this is too friendly of a word, but most critical commenters, right, on the videos, more than any other platforms. Do you experience this in the reviews? People that are coming in, of course, they're anonymous and dropping comments that aren't helpful in any way?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Again, not to drop a lot of rules, but we always the internet rule that they have is 1-9-90 rule. I don't know if you guys know, which is 90% of the internet is just lurkers.
Mm-hmm.
People read, interact, but don't actually do anything. 9% of them basically comment once or twice here and there in forums. Obviously, social media is different. But then only 1% literally of the people that go on average into a forum, etc., are the ones that comment. So one of the things that ends up happening is you will end up selling 1,000 products and you got 10 people mad. And out of those 10 people, 3 of them basically did it themselves. And no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy. Guess what? Those 3 people in your videos that have 5 comments, boom, 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 boom. So what can you do? We've actually learned that the best thing to do is just make sure your customer is always happy. Even if sometimes you lose more money, you end up losing more money by having a customer irate and turn around and giving you a bad Yelp review about something. Costs more money in the long run than just letting it go. It really sucks. It's a little bit like being held hostage sometimes, especially, the bigger you are and the more comments or something, and it can just wade into the bottom, you can start ignoring them. But the smaller you are, they always kind of have you hostage. You get that email that says, nobody cares about calling the Better Business Bureau. But if they turn around and said, I'm going to make a YouTube video of your product and I'm going to say it's garbage if you don't refund my money, you're kind of just stuck between rock and a hard place. You might, be in the right according to you, but it's a Pyrrhic victory if at the end of the day you end up losing out. So sometimes you just have to give them whatever you want, especially if it's something that somebody you can figure out what their problem is, even if it's just giving them their money back and you lost money on that whole deal because you gave them the free product. Who cares? It's going to cost way more money to try to fix it later.
Yeah, if you just have 2 people that are turned off to buy just from that one comment, that 2 people for most products is already going to cost you more than whatever it is replacing 100% or refunding that person.
Got it. So you might lose out money on that one individual, but you might be able to recover the cost of everyone else that might see it that might be turned off by it. So certainly invest the time and money into making sure the customer is always happy. It makes a lot of sense. So where do you guys want to see the business go next? Where do you want to take the business next?
We're waiting for to see how the market's growing. Since we are in a more controlled market, waiting for FDA, approval, legislation, regulations. So, we're hoping for not too much government regulation, but enough to protect, users and customers from, lower quality branding. But other than that, we're really excited just for growth itself. And, maybe later on, which I think is most entrepreneurs' goal is maybe sell a portion of it or have a clear exit once we grow it enough with another strategic partner we can hopefully later on find out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carlos and Robert. So sourcevapes.com again is a website. Thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Felix.
Here's a sneak peek for what's in store in the next Shopify Masters episode.
I own the buy box for iPhones and Samsungs. So I was getting a lot of sales. So it would be like 10 to 20 sales a day.
Thanks for listening to Shopify Masters, the e-commerce marketing podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs. To start your store today, visit shopify.com/masters to claim your extended 30-day free trial. Also, for this episode's show notes, head over to shopify.com/blog.